Welcome to the Soup training video. You are viewing the first of 2 videos in this training series. The second training video will bring these concepts to life with a walkthrough of our website and tools. The first question to answer is, what is SOUP? SOUP is an acronym for Solutions for Enterprise-Wide Procurement. SOUP is a multi-award suite of indefinite quantity, indefinite delivery, or IDIQ contracts with over 140 contract holders, and this number does not change as they were awarded through a competition on May 1st, 2015. This set of contract holders will remain constant through the life of the contract. There are over 100 small businesses on our contract, and 80% of the awards go to these small businesses. SOUP is also a government-wide acquisition contract vehicle, or GWAC. SOUP is one of 3 GWAC vehicles that have been authorized by the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB. The NIH Information Technology Acquisition and Assessment Center, or NITAC, and the General Services Administration, or GSA, are the other OMB authorized GWAC vehicles. As with all GWACs, every federal agency can use GWAC vehicles for federal procurements, and SOUP is utilized by every federal agency for their acquisition requirements. SOUP is a contract vehicle for procurement of information and communication technology, or ICT, and audio-visual solutions. This statement gives you a hint about the scope of the SOUP contract, which we will flesh out in the next slide. You also have SOUP's Program Management Office that provides an array of support to our customers before, during, and after SOUP procurement process. Now, let's talk about scope. Understanding the scope of the contract is a key component of understanding how SOUP can be used by your agency. If you need something that fits within a general category but is not listed under the examples, that is okay. It only has to fit the category. What can be procured using SOUP? Anything related to information communication technology, such as software, hardware, and product-based services and networking. If you are looking for software, you can see that all software is listed, including cloud software. Other examples of what the categories could include are tablets, applications, and storage. Mobility and telecommunications, such as cell phones, microwave, or satellite communications, including the full suite of supporting technology, such as cabling. Also included are supporting technology such as scanners, printers, copiers, and shredders. Let's use shredders and printers as examples. Both shredder products and shredder services are in scope. For printers, paper and toner are included. Also, under supporting technology are sensors. These are devices that have data input into an IT system. Health IT is a major component of SOUP. There is also the category of teleconferencing and video conferencing and the support needs for those technologies. SOUP provides both products and solutions, so there are a large number of services also available through the contracts, such as maintenance and warranty, installation, cabling, and site planning that will be needed prior to the purchase. You do not have to figure out scope on your own. If you are unsure if your requirements fit within the scope of SOUP, simply send us your statement of work with your list of materials to help@soup.nasa.gov. We will review and return a decision back to you of what does or does not fit the scope. We will work with you and ask the questions to understand your requirements and procurement needs within a 24-hour business day. Understanding SOUP's scope is one important element, but equally important is understanding that SOUP is a dynamic catalog and not a static catalog. Soup is ever evolving and ever changing. Products are constantly being added based on two things: customer requests and scope of the contract. Currently, we have over 8,000 providers, including original equipment manufacturers, original service providers, and large companies such as Cisco. It is not uncommon for Soup to add 5 to 10 new companies a day, stemming from customer requests for products. Not only can we add up to 10 companies a day, we also change over 10,000 items every day based on the requirements coming in from the federal government. There are millions of products currently on the contract. However, if you do not see the product you need, but it is in scope, it can be added by submitting a RFQ. Your request will be reviewed, and through our technology refresh process, we add products so that you can receive a quote from the contract holders. The contract holder quotes are verified by Soup when they come through our system to ensure that all items that are quoted are on contract and priced correctly. The dynamic nature of Soup is one of the many reasons that we are the contract vehicle of choice for so many federal agencies. One question that we often get from our customers is, "You have what we need, but do I have to keep requesting it over and over?" And the answer is no. We also have static view options for our customers. We provide a market research tool as a starting point. In a nutshell, it combines the ability to search the companies that are currently on contract, track the companies and products you want to have added in a way that will make it easy to send out a request for information or RFI to the contract holders. Another tool we provide is the Quote Request Tool, or QRT, that can be used to submit a request for market research information. After submission, you will receive a verified list of products and services that will meet your needs. These quotes will stay static until the quote is no longer valid. Another static view option for when a longer time frame is needed would be the Delivery Order with Options, or DOWO. The DOWO is useful when you have a recurring, known set of requirements that occur at regular time periods. For example, you may have maintenance or licensing that requires a yearly option to recertify, renew, or repurchase. The agency catalog is another static option that has exploded in popularity and usage. This option provides a way for customers to get a static view for specific products where unknown quantities and variable buying patterns could occur. Let's look at the agency catalog option in more depth. The first indicator that an agency catalog is the right option is that you have a known set of specifications. We will use printers as an example. Your requirements might be desktop printers, office printers, or maybe there is a high-speed multifunctional printer needed. Whatever the printer requirement is, it must be defined. What are the speed requirements? Are there connectivity requirements? Once defined, these requirements are set out as a request for quote, agency catalog, or RFAC. There can be additions to an agency catalog, but only within the original product specification. Continuing with our printer example, you could add other printers, but not laptops. Once the catalog is established, it is added to our system and available for you to use at any time. There is no requirement that you use the catalog during a set time period or a requirement for the amount ordered. You order from your catalog what you need whenever the need for the products or services arises. There are many benefits to using agency catalogs, including simplifying the order process. There are more benefits and features than we can discuss in this training video. But if you are interested in setting up an agency catalog, Soup recommends that you allow our office to assist the initial setup of the first one. Our Federal Acquisition Strategic Sourcing Team, or FAST, will be monitoring the agency catalogs to make sure that all items are on contract and the setup is done within the policies of the Soup contracts. At this point, we will address FAR Part 16.505B. As an IDIQ multi-award contract, this is the FAR part that the SOUP contracts follow. When you are using an existing set of contracts, such as SOUP, the pre-award activity has already occurred when the contracts were awarded. This includes the business size, DUNS and case codes, which are set at the contract level, including the NACE codes. All this information is provided for you to view on our website, alleviating the need for hours of research on your end. We provide all that information for you. All FAR Part 16 contracts are governed by what is called fair opportunity. As a result, with SOUP, you do not have to obtain more than one quote. Our tools provide the opportunity to all of the companies that fall within a given category or group set aside. The process of how your agency does fair opportunity is at the contracting officer's or CO or KO's discretion. SOUP provides our customers with a quote request tool that features built-in functionality for fair opportunity. There are other methods, but for fair opportunity, that is our only recommended method. Under the FAR, it is the best value determination, so it could be the lowest price or technically acceptable and or other decision-making determinations that you can make. It is important to take a minute to discuss sole source versus brand name. Sole source means that you are choosing to only go with one company and essentially avoid fair opportunity. Although there are exceptions that allow this, we recommend those exceptions that are carefully considered and documentation requirements are understood. If you are thinking about choosing sole source, SOUP recommends to go ahead and submit a fair opportunity quote request. If only one company replies with a quote, you can respond without having to justify a sole source. Brand name differs from sole source, as many brands are available across multiple contracts. For example, if you are interested in only Dell or HP as a requirement, multiple quotes are typically received, which is different from sole source. However, if your brand name requirement is over $30,000, you will have to create a justification document and include it with your posting. At SOUP, we handle fair opportunity using groups. There are notable differences that need to be pointed out. It is important to note that Group A was solicited as NACE code 334111. This group is set at a certain business size and allowed us to have certain type of businesses compete within this group, so there is a smaller number of companies and a smaller number of set-aside options. The larger and more frequently used groups are B, C, and D. This is where the value-added resellers primarily are found. There is a larger number of set-asides as compared to Group A. How you decide which group to use may depend on your market research quotes, quotes from previous usage, or other information that you have gathered. The scope is the same for all groups. Once you select the group within our quote request tool, all the companies within that group will be selected for you. Now, let's touch on the subject of pricing. First, you can find more detailed information about pricing by referring to our extensive and easily searchable database of frequently asked questions. One key factor in how pricing is determined within the SOUP process is that SOUP checks the pricing for fair and reasonable. If a contract holder has a SOUP contract and a GSA contract, the price on the SOUP contracts will be lower. The SOUP fee is lower than the GSA fee, and therefore the SOUP price should be lower. Another key in the process is that we compare the price to other contracts. Since most of our products are commercial products available across many contracts, it is easy to check and make sure that they are within the same pricing range. Unless there is a valid reason for the discrepancy, we will question the pricing. As part of our pricing process, when we add an item onto the contract, we have already completed a price evaluation review that sets the contract price. You may see a lower price included in a quote, which could result from many circumstances based on the contract holder's determination. The customer's ability to negotiate pricing or question pricing is also a key component. If pricing is too high or too low, it could be that the requirement was misunderstood or the quote is missing something. You have the option to question the contract holders directly, and Soup provides the question and answer functionality to communicate with the contract holders. Please take advantage of the Soup program office to request a review of the pricing to help you determine and resolve any issues. Products and fixed price services, such as warranties, are set at the contract level. However, when it comes to labor services or any service that includes a labor rate or a category level of effort, the price determination is not set at the contract level. It has to be determined by the indicator of the RFQ at the delivery order or task order level. Soup provides verification that all items are in contract and priced correctly to the customer as part of the quote request process. The quote from the contract holder will also have a verification file from the Soup program office. You can be confident that when you obtain a quote using the recommended Soup process, the items will be on contract and priced correctly. Another quality control when using Soup's recommended process is that Soup will not allow a quote to go through if the items are not on contract or priced incorrectly. Within the verification file, we provide an indicator of the level of provider authorization or approval. You can be confident that Soup does not rely on a letter of authorization that a company is authorized or approved by the original manufacturer or OEM. The Soup office verifies with the OEM if a company has authorization or approval to legitimately provide the government a quote with their products or services through the Soup contracts. When the relationship has been verified, the indicator of that level of authorization is an A for that line item. In the case that an A or authorized relationship has not been approved or verified, moving forward with these options is the highest risk option. If you have determined that an authorized relationship for the product or service is not of concern, then purchasing from the provider without a verified relationship is your choice to make. Within the verification file, each line item will have an indicator of the level of verified relationship between the contract holder and the original manufacturer or original service provider. This information is for you to make decisions that match your requirements. Two other items included in the verification file from Soup are the Trade Agreement Act, or TAA, compliance and the EPEAT compliance. We will indicate if an item is compliant, not compliant, or not applicable under the TAA. To purchase an item that is not TAA compliant, an exception under FAR Part 25.401 is required. For EPEAT compliance, we provide a level of compliance flag for those line item products. The Soup Program Management Office provides support throughout the entire procurement lifecycle. We can provide guidance on scope or how to utilize Soup to realize your goals and requirements. For submitting your requirements for quote, we have the quote request tool with many embedded functions and features to assist you. The PMO assists with order processing so that once you obtain quotes through our system, you can either create a delivery order or make a credit card order. Modifications can also be made to the orders, and the PMO is available to verify these mods before they move forward. We do guarantee a one-day turnaround to move from receipt of the delivery order paperwork to verifying and submission to the contract holder for fulfillment. However, our involvement doesn't end there. We continue to process, review, and track the status of your order all the way through to delivery. We also provide you with an order status tool so that you can monitor not only the status of your order, but also past orders, including all the paperwork from those orders and the RFQ used to create those orders. There are some FAR requirements when it comes to awarding an order to a contract holder. The SOUP PMO notifies the contract holder when an award has been awarded to them. However, the PMO does not notify companies other than the awardee, nor is any information concerning an award released other than that the award was made. Per FAR Part 16.505B, if your order is under $6 million, the government is not required to provide an award notification, debrief, or further information. When the award is under $6 million, the option for contract holders to request that information is available to them, but it is up to the customer to decide whether or not to agree. SOUP has provided an optional award notification tool as part of our quote request process to make it easy for you to provide an award notification. However, in the case of an award that is under $6 million, it is not required and is optional. In the case of an award that is $6 million or over $6 million, under the FAR Part 16.505B, an award notification is required, and if requested, a debrief is also required. There is no protest allowed under Subpart 33.1 unless the order itself is outside the scope of the contracts, increases the period of performance of the contracts, such as doing a SOUP 4 or SOUP 3 order, which of course we would not allow, or increase the maximum value of the contract. The way SOUP operates, that is highly unlikely to occur. Currently, you would have to have an order over $18 billion in order to max out the value of any of our contracts. So, the important limit is, if you are an agency that is other than NASA, Defense Department, or Coast Guard, you can be protested over $10 million for any reason, but essentially cannot be protested for under $10 million, except for those noted reasons. For NASA, Defense, and Coast Guard, the limit is $25 million. Finally, if you have any problems, any questions, any concerns, please know that we are available and are happy to take your questions via phone during business hours, via online chat, or you can send us an email to help@soup.nasa.gov. Please take note that we have many training options, including in-person training, and we do have regular webinars that are announced on our social media platforms and can be found on our website. Thank you, and have a super day.